Hey guys, Dan from Alliance Contracting and Design here. Today we're going to talk about Toro Snowblowers and what to look for as far as the wearable items. As you can see here, the rubber paddle is significantly worn. There's a thick side and a thin side on each side of the stitching. The thick side of the rubber goes down towards the scraper bar. This is the scraper bar that was on the bottom. As you can see, they get pretty beat up and worn. But it's important when you replace the scraper bar, you replace the paddles, which I just did on this unit here. Here's the new scraper bar installed. It goes in just like that. Notice the orientation. The job of the scraper bar is to ride on the paved surface and basically peel up the snow and or ice, feed it into the chute, and then the blades, or paddles, come down in a screw-like fashion and rub with close tolerance right on the scraper bar. This spins really fast and throws the snow up the chute and out. Here you can see how close the paddle comes to the pavement, literally scraping it. That's why after a bunch of use, they wear just like this and then no longer make contact with the pavement. You'll know when it's time because the snow will not throw as far. It just kind of comes out with no effort, almost like the machine is bogging down, but yet the engine's not bogging down. If you don't want to let it get that far, I'll show you what to look for. On the new paddles, they have a little hole. That's basically a wear indicator. Once this wears down and you can no longer see the hole, that means it's time to replace the paddle. A lot of people don't realize this, but these snowblowers have consumable items such as the scraper bar and paddle, and every time you use it, they're slowly wearing out. It's important to monitor this if you want to maintain peak performance and throw snow the farthest distance with the most efficiency, and also clean up to the pavement. The other thing we noticed is the screws in these little holes here and here. You have to keep an eye on those so they don't vibrate and come loose. Also, these knobs on the back here, they tend to vibrate loose, and then your handlebar will be flopping around, so you want to keep an eye on those. The other important thing is to monitor this cover. When this metal wears out, it creates a hole or a void in the bottom. Water and snow and ice can get up in there and get on the belt. Once that happens, you'll notice a decrease in power, possible noise or squealing, and the paddles won't turn as efficiently and with as much force as they should. You can get parts wherever you purchase your snowblower from. Usually any good hardware store or even a box store will have the parts in stock. I like to keep one of each item on hand, so if I'm in a pinch, I can change the parts out right away and keep working. The other important thing I want to mention is don't drop the snowblower. You see these wheels here? They're basically just made for traveling when you're not using the snowblower, because once the snowblower is being used, it rides on the scraper bar and the paddles sort of pull it along. But if you drop this off a tabletop or out of the back of your truck, these wheels can get bent and then they'll start to rub on the frame right here. So be careful. Even though these things are light, they can still be fragile. It's important to check the oil because these are now 4-stroke engines. You just pull out that plug and it has a dipstick on it and you can check the oil level like this. The oil level is good and the oil still looks relatively clear. Actually, we just changed the oil on all of our machines last fall and they don't have that many hours on them. Depending on use, I usually change the oil every fall, and then in the spring when I'm done, I'll shut the fuel off or leave it somewhat empty and then run it until it runs out of fuel. But it's important to drain the carburetor bowl because the new modern fuels can gum up and cause varnish. If you look up under there, there's a drain plug that you can pull that and it'll drain all the fuel out of the carburetor. I recommend doing that before you store this for the summer. We started running recreational fuel in all our small engines and it doesn't go bad like the modern fuel with the higher ethanol content. Most pump gases have about 10% ethanol, and that can go bad as soon as 30 days of sitting. We noticed with the rec fuel it lasts longer and performs better, and it doesn't seem to go stale, if you will. So there's where you fill the fuel up right there. These little engines are pretty good on fuel. They don't really consume too much, but like any engine, it depends on how hard you work them. One last tip: zip tie or put a lanyard on your key so you don't lose it. I appreciate you watching, and I enjoy doing videos like this. Hit that subscribe button so I can do more videos in the future. Thanks a lot.